let's get started. Thank you for being here for the 8th edition of Amateur Spirit. And as you know, the principle of Amateur Spirit is that a small jury of amateurs, skilled amateurs, from around the world meets online to taste blindly some samples and reach an agreement of which one will be selected and bottled. The last jury selected an Armagnac Ténarèse, vintage 79, from Maison Bourdillet. And in Amateur Spirit, we never selected a whiskey. And I wanted to select a whiskey, a French whiskey, and from Brittany in particular, because it's my region. And there are several distilleries there, and very good ones. For once, I'm going to reveal the distillery for the first time. For the last juries, I revealed the distillery and the vintage and other stuff at the end. At this time, it will be at the beginning, because I think it's important for you to know well what do you have in your glasses. But first of all, maybe guys, you can introduce yourself. We have tonight Frederick from Scotland, Serge from France, and Gil from Israel. So who wants to begin?
I'm the youngest, so I will start.
Okay, are you sure?
Yeah, into the fire. Gil Firth from Israel. I think I drink whiskey for around 10 years now, but as years go by, I'm drinking more and more stuff. I can say about myself, I'm a true omnivore. I drink everything today, but I always have the main thing I drink and do is whiskey. I have a big whiskey community in Israel, the Whiskey Lovers IL, close to 30,000 members, doing tasting, blind tasting competitions, and a lot of other stuff. It's a big pleasure being here tonight.
Thank you.
Shall I go next? Okay. I'm Frederick Maitland. I live here in Scotland in a wee town called Haddington, just to the east of Edinburgh. And I've been super into whiskey for about 12 years. And over the last 7 or 8, I've gradually developed a community. I started off with food and whiskey evenings in Edinburgh. And then when COVID happened, I moved online. And it mushroomed into now a big international community. I do tastings once or twice a month online, private events, and also take tours. And I'm just very excited to have a whole bunch of samples arrive from Tobermory Distillery today, looking ahead to next year. And we just completed an Isla tour recently as well. I also have an insane whiskey collection, slightly inspired by another gentleman on the call tonight, of about 800-900 bottles here, and a lot of people come, including Gil, to visit and stay and have like private tastings and just have some fun. So for me, so much about whiskey, and I'm super excited to be here tonight. And I've only dabbled in French whiskey when I've been over at Whiskey Live, so this will be an education for me as well. So yeah, hello everyone, and I look forward to this.
Thanks, you, Frederick. Serge.
Yeah, so I suppose it's my turn. So I'm Serge. I'm one of the oldest, I believe, whiskey bloggers. I try a lot of whiskey. I suppose I try too much whiskey, but anyway, my doctor never said so. So I just go on. I know the distillery we're going to taste today quite well because they bought cask number 1 at the time when they started. I know the when they launched the distillery, they are good friends of mine, and then they sold on the distillery. But I know the distillery very well. I've been there several times, and as I said, I got cask number 1. Then I swapped cask number 1 with the owners because they didn't have enough whiskey to sell. So I said, you can have my cask, give me another one. So I got a younger one. And but anyway, yeah, well, I know them. So I won't tell more than that, I suppose. It's still a kind of a secret, isn't it? No?
Yeah, well, as I said,
Not the Macallan, right?
I have a quick presentation to show you because, as I said, it's important, I think, to know what you have in your glass. And I'm going to share just for a few minutes my screen. I have a little presentation. So, yes, we are tonight with a Celtic whiskey distillery in Pleubian, Bretagne. And it's a very small distillery, a craft distillery. I don't know if you very well, where it is and where is Brittany. So it's west part of France, and the distillery is in the north of Brittany, in a beautiful seaside, very close to the sea. That's an important detail. And it was founded in 1997 by Martin and Jean Donnet. At the beginning, they were specialized in maturation of Scotch whiskies. And they made their first distillation, an experimental distillation, in 1999. So Serge, we are talking about that, right?
No, that was what they used to call Tal Isa, which was they had bought a small still that they had on the side that they kept using for, and that was the first experimental one. But the ones with the pot stills you see on the picture, they did them a little later, the first ones. So it was less experimental.
Yes. And after a few years, the plan was to begin producing whiskey the way it was made in Scotland until the 60s. And they made the first distillation in 2005. So the first Glenarmor came in 2008, then the Cornog 1 year after. And as you know, in 2020, Maison Villevert brought the distillery. Just about the fermentation, the Celtic Whiskey Distillery brews its own beer, and the fermentation is quite long because it lasts around 72 hours in special fermenters made in Oregon pine that help the growth of natural yeasts, and but they use also conventional yeasts. And they use very little copper stills, one wash bill and one spirit still, of course, and coil condensers. The new make is at 70 degrees. And after that, the aging, the cellar is very close to the sea, around 50 meters. So the casks mature in a unique maritime environment that brings saline nuts to the whiskies. You are going to see that. And so they made two whiskies, one unpeated Glenarmor and one peated Cornog. So if you don't have any question, I think you are very thirsty now. And maybe we can just start the tasting.
Right.
I stop the presentation. So we are going to taste. You are going to taste 3 samples, and first you are going to choose the top 2 together, and then you are going to do the same. To find the one which is the best for you. And if you are ready, let's begin by the sample number 1. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. You know we know in stereo, right?
I'm going to taste too, but I'm not going to say anything. You are the tasters.
Such an amazing whiskey. I don't need to add anything more.
It's a problem with these distilleries, such as with Kornog or Smögen in Sweden. Their spirit, I mean the peaty ones, are or Millstone. Some of them, you know, Millstone in the
Millstone from Holland. Yeah.
Some of them, they have a spirit that just takes any wine. Many of them don't. I mean, you could have a wonderful spirit, but if you pour it into Pedro Jimenez or whatever, it just breaks the spirit and loses all anything interesting. Which is not the case with, I believe, with Kornog or with, and I believe you could already see that in number 2, or with Smögen or with other Chichibu, for example.
Yeah, Heller's Road. There are a lot of new world.
It's more fragile. But anyway, so it's quite tricky to try this, because sometimes I would say naturally, okay, refill bourbon, all the rest is junk, right? But actually, that's not the case with this.
Yeah.
I was, when I first tasted Kornog in Paris, I was really struck by how effective the cask maturation had been.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, maybe they have access to really good casks through their connections, but even so, the spirit was just really holding it together.
Yeah.
And there's a wonderful quality. So I think the salt always going to help in any dish. We love salt. So, and then the thickness and the oils are really starting to come through. I'm guessing these aren't super old, but I was feeling, it tastes a bit older than perhaps they are. But
the first thing you have to keep in mind is that it's direct fired. So
yes.
So it's a long fermentation, direct fired. Usually
they have warm tubs.
Beginning at least they were doing, you know, a natural fermentation with natural yeast. So not even brewers yeast. I'm not sure if Maison Villevert, the new owners, I mean, they are not so new anymore, but they used to be new a few years back. If they went on doing it, making it as they were doing it at the very beginning. So Jean and Martin. But so the spirit was already quite fat and yet elegant, which was quite a miracle, because sometimes the whiskeys are fat and heavy, then a bit, you know, loud and but anyway, you see what I mean? And this and all the three, this is very tricky, Aurélien. That's nasty what you're doing.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
All the three are nice.
I think it's more than that. You know, it's not only the warm tubs and the direct fire. It's they're doing something really, really special. A lot of the New World distilleries, it's like a niche I really love for the last years. I have around 200 bottles from different New World distilleries. It's really something I love. But Kornog and most of the distilleries, Serge, you talked about, they're making, you know, it's not a regular New World whiskey. It's even better, you know, Heller's Road, Smögen, all the distilleries you talked about.
But they're really the best ones.
Yeah, so Kornog, you know, I can just guess how much I think, you know, the age of this whiskey, but it takes you in your mind to the old Isla style whiskey, like older Kulilas from the 80s and stuff like that, you know, the maritime and the peachy note, the stuff that you don't find anymore in today's whiskey, you know, most of the
I agree. But you know the difference between Kornog, I mean Glenarmont, and most of the French distilleries is that most of the French distilleries are good people who have stills and to make whiskey with the stills they have. So cognac, eau de vie makers, Calvados makers, Armagnac makers, whatever. So they don't use whiskey stills as far as whiskey stills exist. Whereas our friends at the Glenarmont, they started by buying stills from Scotland, right? Real pots they never used. I mean, they have this small one they used for the trials at the very beginning. that Aurélien was mentioning. But otherwise, but that's only 5% of the production in France, at least, and I suppose in all of Europe. Otherwise, people use Holsteins and Stoffer and many other kind of, or cognac, so stills that they use in cognac, or small columns that they use in Armagnac.
Yeah.
Makes a whiskey that's much less fat and much more precise and fresh and fruity, which is not exactly what you want with whiskey. You need texture, you know.
I must defend French whiskey. I really love French whiskey. Sorry,
thank
Frederick.
you.
I must say I really love French whiskey. All the small distilleries, you know, like houses and farms, like Chateau Bruyol. It's the name of the Calvados producer that make whiskey. It's amazing whiskey.
Maybe it's a last company, but anyway, yeah. No, I agree. I absolutely agree. But it's just.
It's not the same.
I'm trying not to be too chauvinistic, you know. But they in a way, you have people who have whiskey distilleries and people who have distilleries that make whiskey, which is quite different.
Yeah.
What you don't find in France, I believe, and you won't find it in Germany either. You will only find it in Scotland, I suppose, and maybe Ireland, but even not anymore Ireland. It's a kind of unicity of style. You know, you try it and say, hey, that's French. Hey, that's Japanese. Hey, that's Scottish. That in France, never. You've got old styles, you've got grains, and they use different cereals, they use different, which is perfect for creativity and freshness, and that's cool, and they make that in all countries. But you can't have a tasting panel that tries a whiskey and says, yeah, that's French.
Just as an aside, I've been quite fascinated both with noticing Harris, which I visited privately, and then Race using Italian-made stills. And I was noticing some similarities between the spirit. You know, Race's just got their new 7-year-old out, and it's fun I'm really enjoying going on the journey. And here, you know, people get very like, oh, I'm only into old whiskies. I'm really, really excited to see how whiskey develops through the years. But they have this subtly different flavor. And again, the stills are the same shape, you know, but they are small stills. And I'm getting some sort of parallel with this. So I think it's like thinking a little bit out of the box, but I mean, we can't go down like, okay, your stills can only be made in on Speyside at 4 sites. It's got to be, you know, it is ultimately copper, but something.
The copper contact. So when you've got small copper stills, you've got more copper contact, and so a pure spirit, because copper takes up the spirit, right? And so indeed, they make a spirit that's a bit supposed to be lighter, but actually Race isn't so lighter. So. You've got exceptions, you know, you've got the theory, and then you've got what happens in real life. Exactly.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess, I mean, you know, originally all stills were pretty small, weren't they? Because it was all farm stuff. And that ethos, which you probably still have, from what you were saying in France, with much smaller stills, that was the norm back in the day. So
they are small and they have columns.
Yeah.
Not exactly columns as in a coffee still, of course not. They've got like in Armagnac, so they've got the plates, so it purifies more. So it's more, that's why they usually are a bit fruitier, lighter, more, you know, in theory, but not Cornog. Cornog is one of the exceptions.
So when
Aurélien, you never get such a conversation with Armagnac and Cognac lovers, right?
Yes. It's perfect. And so what's your opinion about this first sample, Gil? You are the only one who tastes.
Well, I will start. This is a brilliant young whiskey for me. It's very bright and very peaty. It's, you know, this nice citrus, a bit varnish notes, a bit like perfume and floral. I get this style of like old coolies, you know, this peach and a bit passion fruit. It's really, really great. But I suspect it's a young whiskey. All of them, I guess, are pretty young, but this one is young. It's very powerful, and I love it. Salty in the taste.
I do have one question. If anyone shed their light on, is that where do they get their malt from, and what's the process with the malting? Like, are they bringing grain over from Scotland, or is it local barley, or?
There are some special edition with local barley, but not peated.
Right.
And for the peated one, yes, that's a secret.
Ah, okay. Because you both mentioned, the others mentioned Hellier's Road, and I was so blown away that they were importing peated grain all the way from Scotland to Tasmania, which is on the level of madness that we enjoy, just to get the authentic flavour. But yeah, I was wondering about that, and also whether this was floor malted or not. But it's very difficult in these tastings because we can start echoing each other's thoughts very quickly, and it's easy to agree. One thing I've noticed is the difference. I probably poured them about an hour ago to get some air in, and I had a wee nip out of the bottle just as I started, and I'm really excited about how much it's opened up in that time. It's really responding to some oxygen, and it's coming more and more alive. It's a very humid evening here, which is unusual, and so things are a little bit warmer anyway, but the flavors are, it's quite effervescent and a little bit sparkly, and I'm enjoying that. I won't say which was my favorite out of the bottle, I'll leave that to the end, but I'm really excited how these are changing, so yeah.
But importing peated barley, peated malt is tricky. When you remember Georgie Crawford, you remember the lassie who used to be the manager at Lagavulin, right? And she would sometimes call Port Ellen maltings, which is, as you know, like 10 miles away, right? And she would call them and say, look, I'm supposed to get some 40 ppm, and what I get is only 30. What happens? There was some wind going over the lorries from Port Ellen maltings to Lagavulin, and the wind, because the spit is only on the surface of the barley, not inside, of course. So it's very fragile; it can just go away. So I can imagine peated barley from Scotland being shipped to Australia. That must be just crazy. What can happen to the? But anyway.
But it's true, and then is that one of those special little factors that make Hellier's Road so interesting because of that interaction?
Hellier's Road, I love them.
Yeah, me too. And anyway, so what we understand, this is a secret, so we don't know where they get their barley from, but it's still really good.
At least you've got big maltsters in France, maltsters. So
yeah.
Use companies such as Soufflet, who is really selling to Scotland anyway.
So you just order up what you want and then they deliver it.
Yeah. I know. I mean, today I think in any case.
Gil's disappeared into reverie. He'll be back soon, I'm sure. I think I might pour a little bit more into my glass. I'm enjoying it so much. It's a great start. So, now, Aurélien, so you were saying you wanted us to compare two together?
Yes. We have to. You have to taste the three samples.
Okay.
After that, you choose the top two.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it again to choose the better.
Okay. So do you have a preference which one we try next alongside one?
The second one, the number two.
Did you unpick yourself these three, or are they samples they shipped to you, or did you choose them, these three?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course. I went to the distillery 2 months ago, and I always do that to make the selection.
Mm-hmm.
I go and visit the distilleries, and I tasted around not so much, but 7 or 8 casks. I told them what was my preference, so they made a little selection, and I chose these three samples. And by the way, can you guess the age of this first one? Gil, you said it was a very young one.
Don't think it. I think it's around 7-8 years old from what I get from the distillery. It's very, very powerful. It's bright notes coming at the beginning when you start nosing it. It's I think it's a young cask. That's what I think.
Yes.
Could be even younger.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
In fact, it is between 7 and 8.
Good. Well done.
The second.
Frederick knows I love blind tasting competitions. I love it.
Well, this is super blind for me because you've actually can compare Cornog memories in your mind and go, oh yeah, this is where. So I'm really fresh off the boat with this, so it's fine.
But they are French years, right?
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? Are they decades? It could be anything.
That's almost tropical aging.
Yeah. But if you were producing spirit like this and that was 7 years old, you'd be pretty happy, I reckon. You'd be like, this is going well. So the warehouse, just to be clear, is right by the sea, like on the beach that the aerial shot you showed us.
Very close.
Amazing.
Yeah, 50 meters.
Yeah.
You have a beach just close to the warehouse.
Yeah.
And the distillery as well.
Yeah.
And last week I said tropical aging, but last week the temperature was around 30 degrees.
Wow, that's hotter than Israel. That's crazy. This time.
Yeah.
And maybe hotter than in Scotland, I guess.
It was. Yeah, it got up to 18, 19 here, 920, which was nice. Hot for May, definitely. So
30 is dangerous if it lasts for too long.
Yeah.
Just flatten the esters, makes the spirit just fruity, which is cool. But
you want it to stay cool and in the ground. But I'm no expert on bacteria. But the ferment, what's in the air? Often people get excited talking about peat and how close it is to the sea. Are you getting like microbiomes like closer to the sea with what's floating around in the warehouse and interacting with the spirit? Which is, and how does the salt get in the cask? These are like great mysteries that many distilleries talk about. But I find it fascinating because the salt is definitely present and these little funky little bacteria are definitely doing their thing. So there's something else going on here.
So it depends on the number of beers that the distillery people you're talking to have had.
Yeah, for sure.
You've got
corporate. Tell you the truth. Sorry, Serge, continue.
Please go.
No, from what I know and think as well, it's not the cask being close to the sea. It's kind of nice for the stories, but you do get elements from the sea because the distillery is close. The barley is going around there, the equipment, everything you do there. But you can take Talisker as a good example because most of the Talisker casks are not on the Isle of Skye. They're not in a Talisker warehouse. They're all around Scotland. So when you talk about getting affected from the sea, from what I know, it's nice for the stories, but maybe it affects a little. But it's
same all over Islay. There's no whiskey on Islay. I mean, there is not much. If you talk to them about that, they would say, you ask them if they mature everything on location, they say, yeah, the island would sink in the ocean. It's not possible. And then indeed, you ask them about maturation near the sea and the coastal elements and the maritime flavors and stuff, and they say, usually the answer, no, but the whole of Scotland is maritime, it's coastal. So you're anywhere, even in the central belt where they mature everything, Black Range, all these places, and they say, no, it's all maritime anyway. So okay, fine. So it's true, it's a mystery. It's still a mystery. seriously. Why Beaumont is very peaty when it's matured in the central belt. Why Lagavulin is peaty when it's matured in Black Range, in the Midlands, whatever.
It's mostly from the peat source, not Serge, because Beaumont has their own small peat source for some of what they're doing, and Lagavulin, I know they take from Port Ellen and from I think from Speyside as well, or the islands.
Lagavulin for sure, because it's Diageo, but no, they used to have an agreement between all the districts, not all of them, but most of them had an agreement that they would sustain support the Port Ellen maltings by buying malt from them.
Yeah.
But that's been cancelled. So many distilleries don't buy the malt from Port Ellen anymore. Of course, not Carlila or Lagavulin. So it's quite changed. And Bruichladdich, for example, had never bought.
Yeah.
From Port Ellen. They brought them from Birds Inverness. So that's quite fun. But oh well.
That's part of the magic.
But then I wonder, is this a little window into an earlier time of whiskey making as well? So I mean, there's probably very little whiskey left now, and certainly not young whiskies that were matured 50, 60 years ago. But I know now the storage is like all over Scotland, but I'm wondering back in the 70s and before if there was just a lot less. And so, when Talisker talks about being made by the sea, back then that was more authentic. But I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just still in.
That's so smart. This line is so.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. It's like,
fucking smart.
Yeah.
Made by the sea. Wow.
Yeah.
So double entendre. I don't know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
English.
Yeah. No, we like that though. It's like, yeah. I hope they got a Christmas bonus.
the guy, I don't know if it's an agency or if it's Diageo themselves or whomever did that.
Yeah.
So bloody smart.
Yeah, there's some truth to it, but again, I find that fascinating because I'm sure there's a storage element, but I like what you're saying, Serge, about remembering that really Scotland is an island and it is coastal, but how it's portrayed, the sort of fantasy view of the Highlands and Islands, and then most of it being in the warehouse over in Fife, which is super ex-industrial, whole coal mining area, which is not very romantic, but it is East Coast and definitely. But the climate here on the East Coast is so different to the West Coast, yeah. So there would be influence. And where it kind of meets in the middle, I always think of something like way up north, like if you're getting up to Pulteney and there, because it's this whole other thing going on, and. I think there's an element there that's true in terms of maturation. So, but
the stuff happens in our heads anyway.
Yeah, but getting back to smaller distilleries, maybe this is where it really shows up. So we have the debate here because this is it. This is really genuinely by the sea. So yeah, but I don't know. Again, could it just be suggestion? If you told me it was in the middle of Paris, I might be getting some other notes in it. I don't know. So.
It happens quite sometimes that when visiting distilleries on Islay, for example, you would have a very famous distillery manager, starts with Jim and ends with one, who would say, yeah, all the warehouses are open to the sea, and so the wind blows in, and it comes with a lot of salt that it takes from the Lochidal and brings it. And then he would put his finger on the cask, and say, tastes salty, and you would try yourself. And just, I didn't find any bloody salt.
I'm not getting it. It tastes a bit grubby to me.
And then you are the idiot because you can't find it.
I love it. And he's laughing at his lunch break all the time, like these idiots. I'll do anything, they'll follow me. So, would you like us to say anything about dram number 2 while we're doing this? It's highly enjoyable, but. I think the color is a bit of a clue when I'm looking at the barrels and bottles. Sorry, like as we see, yeah. So much darker. So
different. So you are ready for the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
You're very tricky. It's very tricky because they're quite good, all of them.
Yeah.
You make a blend of them.
I will at the end. Let's do it. That's great.
That's a tradition.
Oh, good.
No, I mean, we don't choose, you put everything together, you do a batch.
That could be good.
I'm sure it would work. It's very good. Though you haven't got any lame duck within these three. They're all good. Anyway,
But which one is the better?
That's a hard question. That's a hard question.
Well,
They're quite different. I tend to go with number two, but it's very different. It's more mature and calm. It gives you the vibes of like an old Baumor. It's amazing. You know, you have these fruity notes in the background. The peat, you can feel it, but it's more delicate, more maritime. It's maritime. It's wow, what a whiskey.
The first one was bourbon cask, first fill.
First fill, okay.
The second one, there's a little, there's something different.
So very different. It's not like you're just going to drop a regular sherry cask on us. They have some funny wine casks and all sorts of things.
yeah, refill wine cask, no?
Yeah.
Yes,
Something.
but
Refill Sauternes, something.
it's around same age, seven years old, but
Wow.
just
That's crazy.
one year in a different barrel. The rest,
That's a sweet barrel, right? It's not a regular sherry.
it's not sherry.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
sherry.
Sauternes or something like that.
It's not so.
Pinot de Charan.
No, no. It's it was surprising me because you can find this wine in Gascony.
Oh my god.
Awesome.
And it's Pacherinck du Vic-Bilh.
All right, yeah.
It's good.
That's like empty head moment. That's fine.
I didn't have- it could be. I think it's a sweet wine. It can be a dry wine, but I think it was for this aging a sweet wine.
Can be very good.
So 4 years in bourbon cask, 1 year in Pacherinck cask, and back in bourbon cask for 2 years.
It was super effective, the wine.
That's such a brave, that's a brave move. Because the wine's quite strong, and it would just, as I think Serge was saying,
It's very, very tight. Pacherinck, even when sweet, it's very tight, acidic.
Right.
There's a lot of acidity, so it's not at all a PX or Muscatel or stuff like that. It's really a clear cut kind of, even when sweet wine. But the legend says it doesn't travel, which
that really feels more mature. Even the ABV is lower as well. That's amazing whiskey, really.
And the smoke is so delicate, like the thread
amazing.
running through it. Yeah, it's really fun. This is
Yes, the ABV is lower.
It's going to be a tough choice because I guess the question is: do you want to present one that's like pure cornered, unadulterated, or do you want to have something that they've kind of really played with? Because they're both really great. I think it's going to be a hard choice.
good question.
You know,
I don't want anything.
Okay, this is great. Can we take all of them?
No, but you have to know that Jean Donnet, when he started his company, before he built the distillery, he had a company called Celtic Whiskey Company or something. They took the name again. And he was indeed, as Aurélien said, he was just importing and distributing Scottish whiskies, for example. And he had his own brands and his own blends for the French market. And he pioneered really the use of sweet wine barrels. So he did a lot of Sauternes, Montbazillac, maybe Pacherinck, I can't remember, but stuff like that. So he would import Bresse of Glenlivet, for example, and further mature it in Sauternes. And he did that even before Glenmorangie. So he was really, that was really late 90s. And, you know,
That's so cool. Like,
it's kind of the DNA of this company, the use of sweet white wine.
but the difference I'm getting with this one is that they really know what they're doing. Like, you don't want to like layer it on. You're just trying to do like a nice brush stroke over it and then put it back in the bourbon. And that shows a deeper knowledge. compared to some Scottish whiskies I've had where, as you know, they've just drowned it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shiraz. They would never do that, I suppose.
I'm also enjoying, some whiskies really respond to sharing with other people. Some are very private and you just want to be there yourself, but this is coming alive in the way we're talking about it, I notice as well. I think.
Honestly, I'm quite useless. I like them all three.
Well, we haven't got to 3 yet, so
Oh, sorry.
that might ruin us. So
You are ready for the 3?
yeah, and then we'll come back through. I'm fine. I get your system. It makes sense. So.
Yeah. I would do that. Even if I tried 12 whiskeys, I try all the 12 like this.
Back and forth.
But you have to be careful because at some time your tongue becomes numb and you have to be slow and careful. As you know.
My request for the company is that they make them easier to import to the UK, because I it's so hard to get bottles. I've managed to locate 1 or 2, but I think when we put this out to the group and I'll share it, it's like people are going to be, we've been listening and reading Gil raving about it for quite a while, but people are like, where can I get it? So this is really important. So, and
it's difficult. It's difficult in the UK with the extra taxes you need to pay when you order from Europe. For us, it's it doesn't matter in Israel. You can buy it wherever you want. It's nice.
But I think the good thing is that it's still relatively competitively priced compared to, people willing to pay a certain amount of money for great spirit. And it's not, I don't know how much a bottle is, 100, 120. It's not like £500 bottle or anything. So.
It depends who bottles it, but you can find some. You can find some in La Maison du Whiskey that are 200 and 300, and you can find in the Whiskey Exchange in £90. It's different.
I have a whole network of German and Belgian shippers who do all sorts of wonderful magic with the taxes, so they help me out. So.
To be honest, nobody in France would imagine that you guys in the UK would import some French whiskies, right?
Yeah, they I know, and that makes me sad. But I think we need to remember the old alliance, So it's important. So,
but you would import cognac or Armagnac for sure.
Completely, yeah. And for the longest time, wonderful wine. So, good spirit, right? This is the thing. Yeah. But I do, you do get your whiskey snobs who are like, I can only be this, and it can, I can't be that. And I think that's why Gil's a really good addition, because you've got such a knowledge now of world whiskey, and then there's a couple of other guys who are like specialists in Norwegian whiskey, which is a bit niche, but it really helps build up knowledge. And then obviously you've got your Japanese people, but yeah, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Chinese now.
Right, which I haven't tasted yet, but it's coming, right? I've seen some really
lovers. Chinese whiskeys, of course, but Chinese whiskey lovers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely. We certainly have a few, and
better than what we have in our countries.
I think
go to a festival seriously in our countries, you see only grey hair like ours, right? If you go to China, they're all young, and you've got 50% girls, right?
It's completely. Most people from China who come here to taste, it's usually couples. It's really encouraging, and they go back. They're really both engaged, and a lot more chat about other flavors and food. And we had one whiskey that her eyes totally lit up. She said, "It's like a special soup from my area. I'm going to bring you a soup sample next time." And I'm like, "Great, please do. This is great." Yeah, whole other experience.
Very refreshing.
Yeah. And we need that, yeah. Unfortunately, there isn't much to eat in Scotland, so we only have like a 10 flavor palette, so that's the problem. So.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion about the third one?
I haven't tried it. I'm
it's maybe a little less bright than the two others, less what I call clear line. So you've got this small rubbery side. It's a great whiskey. It's a little, I would say, a little less pure and bright and and fresh than the two others. And the two others, the first one is classic bourbon, no question. And the second one is a bit more indeed complex. Some would say a bit more deviant. Others would say a bit more interesting. It's just another word to express the same thing. It's a little less natural. The first one is really clear, obvious, no question, Cornog,
Yeah, there's like.
So it's all political, Aurélien. It depends on the politics of the house, right? Like to express the purity of the spirit, or would you like to propose something which is a bit different? Or...
I'm inventing a marketing line as we were doing by Made by the Sea, and in this one, the sea fog has rolled in around the distillery and muted the spirit a little bit. But it's actually then you make discoveries. But really interesting salty notes on this as well, like almost like a cheese aspect to this more than the others, and maybe that's what you're referring to. So was the distillation, the cut points a little bit different, or maybe the cask is, there's something here, isn't there? It's a bit different.
There's something different, yes, but the cask is a bourbon cask.
Bourbon cask, yeah. It feels more mature, I think.
Yes.
But yeah. But I know that Cornog, they had a small amount of time that they changed the ppm of the malt, 35 and 50, and that's what I know. But I remember that from a tasting I did, but I'm not sure about it. But it definitely feels more ashy, very I will not say what you said, but it's more powerful, ashy, more peat, smoke. It's very powerful. You can still get a bit like sour fruits in the background, but it's way less brighter than the first one, for example. It's a lot of ash, a lot of peat, for me anyway. It's a monster.
Can you guess the age of this one?
I think it's 12, 30, something like that, and the ABV is around 56, 57, something like that. Very powerful, this one.
I was gonna go for like 10 or 11. I wasn't quite 12, but but something else has gone on here. So it's not just a simple case of, it's 3 years older than the first one. It's not. There's something else has happened in the process. So
it really reminds me the 12-year-old by La Maison I think 2 years ago they did a series of 3 different Cornogs. It really reminds me of the 12 years old. Very good.
I have to say, some styles remind me of Ardbeg.
Yeah, single cask Ardbeg, yeah. Definitely.
Wow.
So you're right, it's
Ardbeg, no.
not Cornog tonight. There's a trap.
They got an old Ardbeg cask.
No, it's at 75.5.
75.
No, sorry.
57.
7.5. Yeah, sorry. And more than 17 years old.
Whoa!
Oh, okay.
They still have that.
14, sorry.
14, all right. But
14, all right.
I didn't know they were still having 14 years old whiskies in the warehouses. Wow.
2011.
A great year for Ardbeg. Oh,
Frederick, do the dragon nosing.
okay.
I'm joking, but
I think we'll do bourbon to bourbon to start with.
yeah. The first one is way more peachy and stuff. It's very different. That's
I don't
incredible.
think the first one turns into this one when it reaches 14 or whatever.
Me
you
too.
said.
I don't think
I
it's
think this is a different,
style,
different style.
I'm working these days. I'm kind of working with some glass makers trying to make a stereo glass.
Oh, wow.
As you know, we know in stereo, right? You don't get the same things from both nostrils. And so I've always dreamt about making a whiskey shaped like either the rim would be like a bean, you know, whatever. And I think we're about to find a solution to have a real stereo glass that takes into account the fact that your nose.
That's really, honestly, I'm getting a different experience when I swap them around, nostril to nostril. That's awesome.
No, yeah. And you know how you nose, according to Jim McEwen, Isla Whiskies, right? If you're inside, it doesn't work, but if you're outside, or if your windows are open, you just get where the wind is coming from, you know? Then you just imagine it comes from here, right? You just put your glass in the direction of the wind. You never sniff, right? You just put your nose over the glass and you let the wind come into the glass, lift the aromas and bring them to the nostrils, you know? If you haven't got any wind, it doesn't work. Frederick.
I'm imagining the wind off the sea, it's fine.
And if you've got, the wind is too strong, you just...
It just goes straight past you, right? So...
Don't use your more expensive shirt if you do that.
Wow.
The problem is they are too good. All of them are very good, Aurélien.
Yes, but you have to choose tonight. You have to decide.
Yeah, but it becomes a bit political. Either you prefer to support purity, I mean, closeness to the concept, to the original DNA and blah, blah, or you prefer to support something that's more creative in a way, not innovating. Innovating is a shitty word that everybody's using. Whiskey, you know, the yeast decides, you don't.
We always laugh about it. We say innovation. Yeah.
Yeah. With the past in our mind and the future ahead of us, you know. Wow.
A new wine cask, innovation.
Yeah.
But it's a simple, I mean, I always quite enjoy the rule. I've often had this problem and I'm like, wow, I've tasted a lot and they all taste great, but which one do I want a bottle of? Like, I'm actually, really, you know, because I want to go back to it in a different season. And is your community, are people, are they mainly in France or are they all over, or who are going to buy this or get this bottle?
Any community? Myself, you mean? You're asking?
No, I mean for Aurélien. So, like, are you?
We were.
Okay.
We were.
Aurélien, sorry.
So I'm thinking, and also I'm excited that this is the first whiskey that you're going to release, right?
Yep.
So that's if we're going to do politics, we can do timing maybe, and you know, you're taking people on the journey. So
finally he came to his senses and bottled the whiskey.
You know, whiskey it's so important in France because, you know, the French drink more whiskey than the Brits, right?
Yeah.
Or
single, especially single malts, right? Yeah, I know.
No, they give even globally. No, globally more.
Globally, right?
Yeah,
more Scotch whiskey than the UK. It's quite crazy in volume, not in value, right? They buy cheap stuff.
Yeah.
But in volume, it's true. And my theory is that it comes from the liberators from the Second World War. That the fact that all these people who came to liberate France from France, from over the River Rhine, they were all, nobody did any difference between a Canadian or a New Zealander or Australian or British or Scottish or American, right? But they were all using the same kind of language, and they were all drinking whiskey. And so that started to spread, and that's how and then came jazz and rock and roll, and it was the drink of the liberators, the jazzmen, and the rock and rollers. That's enough for anybody to buy this product instead of a cognac or an armagnac, which you all loved, but that was the drink of the grandfathers, and that's how it came.
I failed to sell some cognac and armagnac to French people, so now I'm into whiskey.
That's good. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember, Frederick, I remember when we traveled 2 years ago, when I came to the trip you organized to Orkney, it was amazing to see that almost nobody drinks whiskey, gin and beer. Even at the distilleries, you give them stuff to taste, special stuff. No, I don't drink. I drink beer. I drink gin. That's crazy.
My elderly mum went on a tour of the West Coast recently. She's almost 89, and they took her to Rasay, which was a bit different. Wow. And she said everyone tried the gin, and she said only 1 or 2 people had the whiskey, and that was just her name. So, and she said it was really good gin, and I was like, oh, that's nice. But she said for the first time ever, my mum has bought me a bottle of whiskey because she was so excited about the story. So she said, I read this article. It's in Hungarian oak, so I'm getting some like crazy Rasa. I'm like, okay, I'll take it.
Good whiskey.
Yeah, I'm just going to get her to sign the bottle so we have a memory together.
That's nice.
But you're right, and actually a lot of those distilleries have done very well off gin. Whether it's Bruichladdich and The Botanist or other ones. So, but yeah, they're missing out. It's such a strange thing. But a lot of people, when I talk to people here, they'll say, well, I raided my dad's drinks cabinet and I drank most of a bottle of Red Label when I was about 15. And I woke up with the most terrible hangover, and I can't really drink whiskey since. And I have to explain to them it's the grain, it's not the single malt that gave you the hangover. You probably had a slight allergy. Try it again, and they're like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad.
That's very good.
But you think, but it's really strange because in France you get the sense that people take pride in like wine, all the things you produce. But here whiskey's like, oh, that's something we do, but we're not invested in it in the same way. It's really strange. But that's a Scottish and a British thing, I guess. But
if you used to go to the first festival, the Whiskey Festival of Ireland, there no bloody distillery would producing a malt. So wow. you had special tastings organized. You paid $10, whatever, and try a few single malts. But in the Killid or the evenings or all the parties, they were all drinking blends. Nobody, the distillery people. And if you went out to restaurants or at any festival with what we now call a brand ambassador, that was not but anyway, same kind of people. Everybody was drinking beer or dry martini or whatever. Mm-hmm. He had the very idea of drinking his own product. Never, which sounds really, really strange,
And, I'm old enough to remember, sherry parties till like mid 80s, and people would have a glass of dry sherry or whatever. And obviously that was a benefit to the Scot, but no one was drinking single malt. It's a strange thing. Anyway, we massively digressed from the joys of Brittany and the coast of whiskey. So do we have to choose now? Have we got another few minutes to kind of mull it over? So
I prefer you choose tonight.
It's not seriously, they're all good.
Yeah.
Not that. At this point, I'm hesitating between 1 and 2.
1 and 2?
Yeah, but three would be perfect as well. But a little more 1 and 2 for, I would say, political reasons. For the purity of the first one, and the fact the second one is more, is still quite pure, but a bit more expressive thanks to the wine. The other one has already some kind of quirky, a bit more bizarre flavors. It's just perfect. It's more complex, probably, but a bit less streamlined and, clear line and whatever. But that's really personal, fully personal.
I will say that I think that number 3 is, as I said, really, really good. My personal taste is toward fruity spirits. This like older Bushmills style, with the peach and the passion fruit, and that's what I get in sample number 1. So I'll definitely pick number 1. About 2 or 3, give me 2 or 3 minutes, because number 2 is amazing. It's so different and good, but I feel I'm getting connected with number 3, so give me 2 more minutes. But number 1 for sure, that's what I'll put for the next round for sure.
Okay, number 1 for sure, Frederick?
For me, yeah, for me.
I'm dragging this out so I can have a few more sips. It's like we're saying, it's all good. I'm leaning. When we've tasted a lot of whiskeys, we're down a lot of rabbit holes, and we like quirks, and we want to explore quirks. But getting back to the purity of the experience and thinking about the wonderful pictures you showed of the distillery and, the whole ethos of the place, and thinking that this will be your first whiskey you've ever bottled, I'm really leaning towards 1. Just because of the purity of the experience, and it's like flash. Here it really is. And then I think, for a lot of people, if they're coming from Armagnacs and cognacs and everything else, this is so different, and it's definitely whiskey, and yet it's also quite French. It's not like really anything else in a way, and I love 2 as well, because I find that little like lick of paint, like I described, is really cool. I'd love to have a bottle of 2. So if you want to send me a bottle of 2, even if we pick one, I'm up for that. And 3, personally, the depth of it and all the rest is great. And we talked about 2011 and all of that. But if you have to hold me over a barrel, as they like to say, I'm going to go for 1. I think just thinking it through. Just because you have a cool label as well, and I feel like we're moving into summer, and I don't know when will people get their bottle? In a month's time, 2 months' time?
The bottling, you mean?
Yeah, like when will they have it in their hand?
At the end of the month.
Great. Wow. So I'm big on seasonality as well. So the freshness really speaks to me. So I think that as a summer glass in July or whatever it's going to be is, I want to sit out and, like, as you guys do, in the sunshine. We sit out in the light rain, but it's okay. And this would be wonderful.
Everybody comes to Plebeian, where the distillery is. Close to Plebeian. It's not Plebeian, but it's not too far.
Yeah.
And indeed, such a beautiful place.
We have just got a new camper van, new second-hand camper van. So I'm like trying to say, like, we need to make a Brittany trip and come down. I really want to go to Karnak and see the stones, and like it would, yeah. And Gil's always knows that I might be up for like alternative tours involving archaeology and whiskey, so it's always a good thing. So we might make a trip.
Good.
I was supposed to come to visit the distillery when the original plan was to go to the Whiskey Live in Paris, but 3 years ago I just couldn't manage to come to the Whiskey Live, so that's why. But I was supposed to visit the distillery.
Are you going to come this year? No.
What?
Are you going to come this year to Whiskey Live?
No, I don't think so. I already have the Springbank Whiskey School, and I don't want my wife to kill me. So this year I'm out.
Your wife than anybody else.
Next year for sure, and Cognac and Armagnac as well, hopefully.
I made the mistake of getting married at the end of September of my wedding anniversary. So now it's like the phases of the moon. I have to wait till 2 more years, and then it'll be on the Tuesday, and then I'll be fine for the weekend again. So I'm getting the right window. But I can't wait to come back. honestly, I think there's something very special about drinking whiskey and then all the other spirits in Paris. Like, I've spent 2 great afternoons downstairs just in the cognac section. And the amount of quality, it's ruinous. It's wonderful.
Anniversary year,
Right.
So yeah, I think it's going to be quite huge, and everybody needs to celebrate, to have parties, and
right now, yeah,
more than usual, because ones are a little tougher.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to everybody's going to be plastered after 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and it's going to be in the cocktail streets. It's going to be
yeah, no doubt. Well, and then she said, "Well, I need to go to a course in Ireland, so I may have some leverage now. So if I can, I will, but for sure." So
I was in Hong Kong last week. That was cool as well, to see these places. The whiskey lovers over there, their passion, their openness, amazing. And the whiskey, there are some good whiskeys now in all these countries. Tried my first Tibetan whiskey.
Whoa!
Yeah, crazy. Chinese a lot, of course. Korean, etc. It's crazy.
I know that China is quite a thing now. They're gonna make more distilleries than France and Scotland in 5 more years. I think they have around 60 or 70 distilleries now.
Indeed.
Not all of them producing, but
many distilleries are actually French or Scottish distilleries companies. So the Chuan's Pernod Ricard, Diageo has contributed the name anyway. So yeah, it's. But indeed, you're right, and they make it very. I mean, I've tried quite a few now, and they're quite good. Huh? Seriously. Yeah, they make it well, and they buy it and then drink it, and for a lot of money. It's quite expensive. They're expensive, and they've got what they call now the Chinese pride, so meaning that they buy their own products, whereas they would buy ours. They would believe that a good brandy is cognac, a good whiskey is a Scottish malt, etc.
Yeah. I think that's the direction with most of the countries today. I think more and more countries will be like locally producing not only whiskeys but all the spirits. That's what I think anyway. Even though the
cars and shoes and whatever,
yeah,
perfumes, and I agree with you totally.
I'm just triple checking. Okay,
so I decided I really wanted to go.
Sorry.
I really wanted to go with 3, but I think Frederick, I told you from the the pre-nosing of the evening, number 2. Number 2 is just my really reminds me of like an old Baumor with the guava notes and this nice fruity, very ripe fruits.
That's a good
one. Yeah. So I will have to put number 3 aside. But as I know you, Aurélien, I guess that you can bottle all of them with different labels later. So I trust you with this one.
The Christmas special.
We'll see.
I think they're all. I don't really give scores, but they're all 90 plus for me. I need to keep some. I have 2 milliliters, so I need to keep some for the next round.
Okay, so number 3.
1 and 2. 1 and 2 for me.
Right,
3 put it aside. 1 and 2 for the next round. The younger ones.
Probably more controversial. It's got some brilliant sides, but not everyone will agree, and some people might be a bit put off by some parts of the 3.
Okay, so it will be between 1 and 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, and I agree with the guys. I totally agree with the. I'm always for purity and clarity, even if it's simple. I prefer that to be closer to the kind of a baseline.
number one, do you get the pitchy notes? You know, the pitch notes are getting more and more stronger. That's amazing. I really need to understand how they make it. 7 years old, you said?
Yeah.
I really don't know how they make stuff like that. Damn, Heller's Road, you know, some of those distilleries, they just make incredible complex notes in such young
I don't
ages.
know how to do it. It's too far away for me to go check. But
they have these big milk tanks as a distillery stills, you know, as a spirit still and a wash still.
know what they do, but the end result is stunning.
Yeah.
I love what they do. Some young ones are a bit more, well, but most of them was amazing. But there are plenty of, not plenty, but we started with Lark. You know Bill Lark? You know this guy? Lark?
Yeah, Lark from '92, I think.
Old day. Yeah. He already used to do some good stuff, very good stuff. Whereas the very early Australian makers were making really nasty stuff. The Great Outback, that was really nasty. Wow. If you ever come across a bottle of Great Outback, don't touch.
All right.
Unless you really want to. And then you had Bill Lark was the pioneer.
Yeah. But his whiskey is not very. It's not close to the Scottish style. It's very straight, sweet and straightforward. You know, that doesn't really remind me of bourbon, but it's a different style. But he is the first one. I know. Yeah.
Great. But many didn't try to copy the Scots. They tried to find their own style, and sometimes actually, the Australians used a lot of, for example, Australian port wine, which they used to call port. Now they call it Apera something.
Apera, yeah. They have a Porto and Apera.
Port anymore. But the same thing, and they used a lot of these casks. Thinking many countries at some point had thought that by using wine cask from their own places, they would kind of put a national side to the whiskeys, you know. So the Swiss would use Swiss wine, the French wine, whatever, and etc. And the Mexican probably tequila, you know. And that's too easy. It's an idea that doesn't work. It just works on the paper. It doesn't work in real life. Jesuits tried.
Do you think though, like I was fascinated by when we were chatting about Heller's Road there and chatting to the guy at Whiskey Live about their access to a whole range of Australian wine casks, and it's something else. And he was kept passing me drams to try, and we've done a tasting now, and really interesting flavors from them. And but yeah, you're right. You need to be able to study it. You can't just say, "Oh well, I'm from, and therefore I should use." That doesn't make sense.
And you have done that 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, it was all the rage. You know, Bruichladdich with all the Italian casks, all the Italian market, right? Come on, they are not crazy, the Italians, you know. They won't buy Bruichladdich because it's ex-Sangiovese cask, you know. Never. It doesn't work like this. But that's over now.
There was definitely a phase, and but just, I mean, in terms of two, it's like, yeah, by all means use it as a flavor, but don't go crazy. No. So you really, Aurélien, you've been a great host, completely quiet. We've just like chatted away. It's been fantastic. But do you want us to make a decision then between these two? Is that where we're at? Like,
what's the other option?
I know what my friends believe, and so I agree with them. So they already told.
I mean, yeah.
I really want to go with two. I really want, it's really everything I like. But I try again. And for me, number one, that's what I think it's the most interesting, complex, and with a lot of the notes that I really love. You know, the maritime peat and the peaches and the passion fruit, very sour, really amazing whiskey. I can't really understand how they make something like that in such a young age.
They use pink grapefruit.
What?
I'm joking. They use pink grapefruit juice.
Yeah, that's no. I tell you, I don't need to tell you, of course, but it really reminds me of like older coolies and stuff like that. You have this peach and a bit peat in the background. It's really outstanding. So I think I'll go with number one. But when I talk about both the number one and number two, I think they both get the same score for me, but they're very different, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's
I will go with number one.
I presented reason for one, but now I can kind of go back to two and explore it in a different way. So
I think the two is more complex. It's amazing, really.
Yeah, of course, but I suppose we have to think market. So the audience, Aurélien, your audience, what is your audience looking for? Apparently, we're happy with both, 1 and 2. But I suppose your audience is mostly Armagnac and cognac lovers, right?
Yeah, mostly, yes. Yes, mostly.
I will say something rude, but I guess that most of the cognac and Armagnac lovers, they used to be whiskey geeks at the beginning. No, I'm just joking, but
you're right. You're right.
But I guess that most of them are closer to us than what we think. Most of your main audience, main buyers. You understand what I'm saying? I guess that most of them are close to us with the same opinions and state of mind.
But keep in mind, we are with this selection is special. It's amateur spirit.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't have to think about the market. Just the one which is your preferred.
Okay.
What is your preference? Your own preference.
I'm sticking with one.
Could you ship 2 magnums?
Yeah, like let's
Very
do
quickly,
this properly.
please.
Yeah, quite.
Then some horses.
Look, you don't want to talk about the market we do. We need to do some serious market research. Yes, we're going to go round.
If you don't trust the market, we have to do the job. And if we have to do the job, we need some liquid.
Exactly. I love to, and I think I'm going to stick with one, and I'll add something, which is that I think that's one of the nicest 7-year-old whiskies I've ever tried. Just as freshness, originality, time of the year, all of it, and I haven't even added water to it, which may change it a little bit, but just that's peated whiskey.
That's gonna be water will decide. Seriously.
Yeah.
Have you tried? Gil, did you try it with water?
I think I've got like
of course. Yeah.
I'm just gonna add a drop or two. I managed to get shake some out of the last.
I have the youngsters water kit.
Water changes everything.
Yeah. It's even better with water. I think all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't really. When I try to analyze the whiskeys, I don't think about them as a 7-year-old or a 14 years old. I just try to stick with what I think. And really, number one did it the best for me from the beginning till the end. But all of them are great, and I know that there will be. If we talk about market, there will be a market for all of them. But I think I will stick with number one because it's just my favorite. It's 1991. I think it's really amazing whiskey. Amazing whiskey.
Tonight, I need your opinion, your own taste.
Yeah. For me, I have these when it wasn't raining. These wonderful white flowers. Just their heads are just developing in the garden right now, and they're just coming to that sort of late May, early June flowering. And there's something about one that reminds me of that. And I'm thinking like the white flower, and it's just really beautiful. I mean, I as a whiskey geek and exploring flavors again, I'm with Gil. Like I want to spend more time with the other two, definitely. But I just think freshness and excitement and seasonality, and I keep coming back to one. And I think it'll be nice because it's so different than maybe what's come before with the Armagnacs and other things in terms of the run. But yeah, as I have to vote, I'll vote for one, and I'll stick with that.
The worst part is that water flattens the differences.
Oh, interesting.
No, I should not. What's interesting in number 2 is that you've got paint, no fresh paint.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen with number 1. Oh, switch. Okay.
Yeah, it's like number 2 has this like not old bottling effect, but it's a really interesting note. I don't like old warehouse or something, with a lot of moss and stuff
Dusty,
like that.
yeah.
Dusty moss.
Number 2 is fighting back.
Yeah.
You've got smoked fish, keepers, stuff like that, which you don't have in number 1. Holy Susie.
So in the end, the choice is kind of a style thing rather than a quality thing, because they're all high quality. So it's just kind of like picking a style for the evening.
If I would give scores to them, I would give the same. So
right.
So it's a matter of really philosophy and chatting with friends, but there's no hard rule, of course. Even upon own tastes. So they are not that different. They're different because we've got both in 2 different glasses. But if you had on the side of Macallan and whatever, Holland Park, whatever, they would be so close.
So number 1 is
are the prices of the cast the same?
Yeah, let's get down economics.
I'm doing it the business way.
Brilliant.
You pay the same price for both casts, or is it a secret?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's both a secret and.
No, I'm just not asking for the price, but are they the same?
No.
All right.
No, because the ABV is different. Number 1 is at 58.
58.
Number 2, 52. And number 3, 57.
All natural. Yeah.
Yes, of course. And the quantity is also different.
But you don't need to worry. You will sell them all, Aurélien. Don't worry about the amount of bottles.
No, I'm not worried. But okay. So the number 1. I have my own choice, and most of times that's funny because that's never the choice of the jury.
Uh-huh.
For me tonight, my favorite was the number 3 for the complexity. I think the nose is very complex. It's crazy for me, but maybe I prefer dark spirits like Armagnac and Cognac. So maybe that reminds me more aged spirits that I prefer. But I like the freshness of the number 1 and the number 2 as well. I like them. I like them. But number 3 has something more for me, especially on the nose.
But more can be less, That's the thing.
So your
It's
choice.
funny because when I first, I had a wee nip out of the bottles, like I said. First impression, I went with 3. but then I've come back to one just because of the purity of the experience. And I just as a unique, it's simple, but it's really there's subtlety in there. That's you need to spend some time with it and let it open up. But it's
You can't not think of the people who never tried corn. So I agree totally that number 3 is perfect for somebody who already tried 10 of them, and who knows corn well,
right.
And who would need the sideways and the different styles and more complexity, etc. But for having chatted and being with good friends who sold quite some corn in France and UK, Germany, etc., I see how they struggled. But that was a long time ago. I mean, not a long time ago, but last year or the year before. It's not that it's not something that's in Germany, for example, Kirsch, not to mention them. It was not, I mean, they did one and they sold it, but it was not that, it's not obvious, French whiskey we know it's Brittany, blah, 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 and the whiskey is superb. But as long as people haven't tried it, they don't know it's superb, and they don't believe you. If you sell something, you say it's superb, nobody believes you, of course, which is just right. So yeah, has to be tried, has to be. And the first one is really clear line, probably easier, probably more, as I suppose, I think Gil said, more a kind of Kalila, fresh, easier style, a bit easier, not that easy, but a bit, while having more weight and more in the Arabic style, but fresh and easy like Kalila. So it's a good position. I mean, somebody trying this cannot be against it. Number 3, people could be against it. You see what I mean? Some people would say, oh, yeah, no, this rubber, this new Wellingtons, the blah, 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 is a bit too much for me. Whereas number 1, nobody can be against number 1. Unless you don't like Pete.
For me, number 1 was just more special. Number 3, I can understand what you say, Olia. It's just it really reminded me of like very peaty Isla whiskey that is great. That's very good. But number 1 is when I explore New World whiskey and stuff like that, that's just what I want. But I can understand what you say. But as I said, I told you several times through this tasting, I really think you can bottle all of them. I know I know that Cornog is quite expensive, but I really think that people, when I see the great success that Cornog has, who would imagine that La Maison will sell Cornogs for 350 euros for 12 years old, and it will be sold out. People really look for this spirit. So think about it, but I really think that all of them can be great selections for your portfolio. That's what I think.
And I want to add one other thing. One of the words that Serge uses in his reviews, which I absolutely love, that's made so much sense to me over the years, is blading.
Please tell me.
Is blading, like the blade, the reference to the blade and cutting through.
Yeah,
because if you imagine whatever day you've had, good or bad or indifferent, sometimes you just need to have that experience that just goes, you're straight through and you're in somewhere else. It takes you straight there and it cuts through your taste buds and you're like, and obviously we get that from lemon and salt and all the rest, but number 1 delivers that experience. And I look out for that. And then sure, I go off into the different variants as I really fall in love with the distillery. But yeah, just for that, you're offering a flower to your people.
Yeah, the pleasure of the simplicity.
Yeah.
I understand very well, because the direction of my next selection of Cognac and Armagnac will be very young ones, because you can find very interesting Cognac and Armagnac of 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old.
Right.
Because there's you are between the fresh eau de vie and the woodiness, but you are in comment on dit, l'équilibre.
Zombie one, the zombie zone.
Zombie zone.
Balance.
No, I understand when it starts to. I understand what you
Special
say.
balance, and it's very interesting. You have both of the worlds, the and known at the time, the eau de vie and the wood, but very melted. So it's a perfect balance for me, and I found some very interesting stuff like that. And I want to offer some younger Armagnac and Cognac. So yeah, it's
the killing descriptor these days, and they use them both. I think at least Gil used it, and I suppose Frederick as well. It was peach. And peach is something that you will find in whiskey, in some whiskeys, in some cognac, some Armagnacs, and possibly in other spirits, aged spirits. And peach is really the killing flavor.
Yeah.
As soon as you find peach in a well-defined, style, it's obviously peach, not peach that resembles apricot, but really peach. Wow.
Because it's a texture thing. It's one of those unique flavors. It's both a flavor and a texture in our brain.
Yeah.
Like we bite into a peach and the full experience. You bite an apple, you go, it's crispy, but it's not the same. It's
it's the secret behind profiles such as Bushmills or coolies, indeed, or TDL in rum, or
TDL,
yeah.
A lot of Grand Champagne as well. I like
exactly, and Grand Champagne, and peach, and a bit of mango behind it, a bit of honey, a bit of sultanas, just a few, and that makes it superb whiskey. And that's what's fascinating, is that it's common in our categories. In that you used to find that in Lochside in whiskey or in Glenuggy, some of them, not all of them, and Colburn and whatever, and they're all dead now, but whatever. But you find them in TDL, you find them in 10K, kind of dead as well. But yeah, well, it's not.
Oh, don't. Yeah.
That's fine, right? They all die. No,
and because you say those names and the association with a very pure flavor. Oh, yeah.
Frederick, you can tell him what is the best closed distillery in Scotland. It's all right. Glenlochy. You can tell him Glenlochy. It's all right.
Yeah, well, Glenlochy wins on the Bladey side, right? We've been there. 1980 Glenlochy's, and a lot of blade. But I thought you were going to say I have to say the word Brora because it would be rude not to. But it's no longer close. So what can you do? So
I'm about to do a Glenlochy session tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Oh. We did, we have a long history with Glenlochy here, and collected most of them over the years. But just real pleasure.
And Colburn. In the old days, you would need 1 year to gather 10 samples. Now you need 10 years to gather one sample.
Yeah, I often have to think a year ahead, and work at it, and we have done a Colburn vertical about 3-4 years ago, and it was a year in preparation. Finding weird Gordon MacPhail bottles and all the rest. So, totally get that. But
with the Whiskey Loch going higher, right. they both Diageo does it, Gordon MacPhail, they all launched now old names, old whiskies. Not many, but I suppose there will be more, and that's really cool. Suddenly new Glenurry Royal, whatever.
I will try the new Glenurry on Thursday, the one for the Rare series or whatever. But
it's superb.
Yeah. But I think they've still got 1 or 2 casks left for Glenlochy because they stuck it in a blend, a 52-year-old blend. Johnny Walker did last year.
No way. I don't believe you. You're
completely.
I think it's a teaspoon, Frederick.
No. So we're doing that. I'm at the launch here in Edinburgh, and then they stop the thing and say, "Right, Frederick, what distilleries are in here?" And everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I got 1 or 2 of them, but I just couldn't believe there was Glenlochy in there." And they were like,
"It's
"You're
like
Glenlochy." So,
it's like the Big Pete blend. They have Port Ellen inside, but they put half a teaspoon inside the vatting tank.
But it's 52 years old, so you start to really think. And actually, in that, the Hartwell they really went for was an old Blair Athol, which was beautiful, worked really well. So they've still got casks. You know, there's and then this whole flood of old stuff coming from like Bowmore, and then the old new whatever Glengarry's from '72 coming out with Angus is doing, and Milroy's and the rest.
I tried it; it's very good. I can tell you, it's very good.
Yeah, I've heard, because people had some in China already, like or in Hong Kong. They were like busy chatting about it. So
they brought the sample. I went there with him. I mean, not with him, but we were there.
Yeah,
and brilliant. It's very good, really old style Glengarry, peaty, you know.
Yeah.
And digested by the whiskey.
Oh, I can't wait! I'm so
sweet
excited.
wine that digested its sugar.
Yeah.
The same. The whiskey digested its peat. So you feel it's a bitter whiskey.
Yeah.
Peat as such, like in old Outback, same.
Right.
Where it goes towards camphor and old polish, kind of wow. And this is really. But I thought these Glengarrys would have been forgotten, this style, from its early 70s up to 75. You used to have a few crazy guys who used to buy all the casks and launch them, Matthew, whatever, I can't remember the names. But that was the old days, and I thought it was over. And I'm really glad that you can still find some.
But there's also, chatting to my friend at Milroy's, they were saying they've got some really old Ardmores as well. So that the same journey with the peats is going to be a very exciting time. And I mean, where were these casks? Like,
if you want to find peach in whiskey, Aurélien, you who are a brandy guy, if you want to find peach in whiskey, try Ardmore.
Oh. And it's such a secret distillery for so many people. Like, overlook it. Yeah.
Full, clear, pure peach.
Yeah.
And it's peaty. I mean, not that peaty, but it's quite peaty.
Yeah.
It's not too clear.
Sorry?
Is it not too clear? Too light?
No, it can be just peat. Just peach. I mean, you mean clear line, pure, simple?
Simple, yes.
Yeah.
And so, Aurélien, why this is so important?
I mean boring.
Sorry?
No, it's not buried. It's like, it's really there. And it's evolving as it ages. But why, and again, talking about why this is important is this is right at the beginning of the journey. So we're starting to reminisce about super old casks, and that's really exciting. But imagine they dig out a cask of this in 50 years' time. That's what we're talking about. So you're seeing the beginning of the journey.
Imagine they find the video of us.
I'm going to have this installed in my gravestone. It'll be perfect. With a cask, why not? But this is the journey that we're on, and the key thing is, like, we always keep reminiscing about direct fire and like these notes, and chatting about Colburn back from the early 70s or Glenugin. So all these things, late 60s, before heating changed. And these guys just went, you know what, we just need to go and do that, like you had in your presentation. You were like, no, it's like, let's go back to the old ways. And there's a reason for that.
That's the definition of innovation for me. Because it was when it was best.
Exactly. Like, if it's not broke, don't
They just can't.
Yeah, a lot of people have to fiddle with stuff, and then they realize, no, I just have to leave it alone. But I think for me, that's also the magic of cognac. It's like, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna look at it maybe every 10 years. No, just leave it alone. And that's when the magic happens. And I get excited about how long things have been in the bottle, and that's a conversation for another time, obviously. But it's been in the bottle 30 years. That's very exciting. Like, it's a unique experience. So, wow, what an evening! I'm like, and that shows again the quality of the whiskey, even though it's relatively young. It's engendering great thought.
I think that whiskey is the most, for me, it's the most versatile spirit from them all. I will say that again, my opinion, it's the most, it's the best spirit. But all of today, when I'm a bit matured in the world of spirits, I can find a lot of great spirits everywhere. But cognac, especially cognac, some of them are like amazing, but most of them are on the same spectrum of, it's the same kind of notes, the same kind of qualities. It's very high scored, very tasty, very complex, very good. But you don't find such a big variety of different profiles of Grand Champagne or Petit Champagne. You know, that's for me.
Yeah.
Armagnac, it's a bit different. Armagnac, it's very different, and it's quite thrilling to find new Armagnacs. But then again, Armagnacs I can divide to three categories. You know, you have the exotic ones that are more like a tropical style and bright style. You have the ones that are closer to rum, and you have ones that are closer to whiskey. That as a person who came from the whiskey world to Armagnac, it's amazing, and I prefer the fruity one, the more tropical Armagnacs, you know, the brighter ones.
There are Armagnacs for everyone.
Yeah, it's a amazing world, Armagnac.
Yes, and also independent bottlers who bottle some very old cognacs want to have the typical fruity notes, mango notes, the peach, and it can be it's very good, but it can be all the same and it's boring. In Armagnac, it's hard to find a single way. Each domain is different. Each cellar is different. You have wet ones, dry ones, middle ones, and it's always a different discover.
No, I really love it. You know, as I talked with you, I really tried to imitate your style here in Israel with the new thing I do with Israeli spirits, because we have around 45 different distilleries from that produce different spirits here, and I really love the way that you just go and travel and pick the cask that you choose. And I started something here. Luckily for us, we're a small country, but it's really amazing to find such different stuff. And Armagnac is very close to like the different spirits we make here, because we have a lot of materials, how do you say that, like different fruits, different kind of grains, and we produce arak as well and stuff like that. So I envy you, your travels around France. It's a giant world.
Arak here.
What?
We don't make arak.
Yeah. You like arak, Serge? I don't really like it. Not for me, but we have a lot of producers that make arak. You have people that produced arak 200 years ago and stuff like that.
You've got araks with figs, araks with araks with they make arak with different kinds of
yeah.
Aurélien, there's another test you can do to see which is your favorite whiskey at the end of the night. I do this in the tastings because when people are busy chatting, they forget, they stop thinking about it, and you see how much has been left. So if you notice, 1 is completely empty, 2 is like so-so, and 3 is a bit more full. So I'm drinking 1.
Yes, I do that when I have to choose between some samples. I just look the samples days after.
Yeah.
See the different levels.
Yeah.
Of course, the one which is almost empty is the better.
Yeah. It's kind of because you were just like, no, I'm just going to pour a bit more while we're chatting, and that's usually quite a good indicator. I play with
all my samples are empty, but I got my samples are much smaller than yours.
True. Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So that doesn't always work, but what we're also saying then is you've given us very healthy samples. Thank you. Not just like 15 mil. We had to wing it for 2 hours. So.
Well, I'm the only one who got 50 mil.
No, we all got.
I'm joking.
I made a blend, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any more whiskey.
I don't. I'm done. Yeah.
But I even drank the blend. So no, it was good, which is a good sign. It was good. The blend works well because actually they are not that different. they are different, but not that different. So when you blend them, that works very well. You have no clash, nothing. They just blend together and create something that's similar to all three.
It's just another one, but it's very good.
Another one, it's not very different. It doesn't create something hugely different, but it works.
Aurélien, and a good word for you as well. Great selections, as always. And thanks a lot for this experience.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really great selections.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Just for those who are watching us, you will find these bottles on the tiny website amateurspirits.com in a few days, and you can also sign up for the newsletter. And thank you, guys. Thank you for being here and to have chosen for being part of this and for choose this very nice whiskey. All bottles will carry your name if you are okay with that, and you will receive a free bottle of your selection.
Wow.
We're doing it.
It's an evening well spent.
with a nice label. About the label, the cellar was covered by some wood painted in red. Now it is blue, but for years it was red. So it could be the color of the label. And for the picture, I was thinking about the Great Lighthouse, which is not so far from the distillery and the cellar.
Lovely.
I thought you will put a raccoon, but that will be perfect.
Really? What you said?
You keep your raccoon.
I thought you will put a raccoon on the bottle. You know, it's my it's my spirit animal, the raccoon, the whiskey raccoon. So whatever.
On the background, or on top of the lighthouse.
In Brittany, they eat them.
Oh no!
With a nice cornog on the side.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Wonderful.
It was the
Sounds
pleasure.
great. A great meal.
So thank you again, guys, and thank you for watching us. I hope you liked it. You liked it, and tell us what you think in the comments. And next selection will be after summer, and it will be cognac. So thank you, and bye-bye.
Right.
Bye-bye, guys. Bye, Frederick. Bye, Gil.
Goodbye. Wow.
Aurélien.
See you later.
See you soon.